Hi everyone, I'm here with Christina Augliera from Torrington Area Family of Autism, which is TAFA for short. Good morning, Christina. Thank you for having me today. April is Autism Awareness Month, and I'm highlighting organizations that focus on autism advocacy and support and families in Connecticut. So thank you so much for having me. Why don't you tell us a little bit about how TAFA began?
Okay. So TAFA started out of a need for my own family. My youngest son, Connor, so I have two children, one who's 14, Kaden, and one who's 11, Connor. And when Connor was diagnosed at 20 months old, I set out looking for resources in the area that I could get to that would support not only him, but myself and my family having a child on the autism spectrum. And what I came to find was that a lot of those services were concentrated towards Hartford County and Fairfield County, and everything was a really far drive, and having an older child who didn't have needs, it was really hard to constantly be hauling us all back and forth to things, 45 minutes to an hour away. And I started doing a lot of advocacy around school with Connor and networking with other parents, and through that my personal network grew, and I was hearing from parents that they were looking for the same things locally. And we started as just a parent support group, so to support each other, network, resource share, and we actually were meeting at the Lark building. Lark, after a couple months, decided to take us on as a fiduciary sponsor so that we could fundraise to provide social opportunities at no cost to the families. Because we started to do an analysis and realized that there was barriers preventing parents from accessing things such as, the divorce rate is really high. We had a lot of single parents, transportation and driving, money. There's a lot of financial expenses associated with autism, so we wanted to be able to limit the financial burden to accessing those services. So having a fiduciary sponsor allowed us to start fundraising, and we started doing a lot of community outings. So we would do science days at the Connecticut Science Center, movie outings, restaurant outings. We did a walking club, anything that we could do to get the parents and the kids together, networking socially. And then from there in 2019, we incorporated as our own 501c3 nonprofit and hit the ground running to expand those services. So now we do a range of activities from social opportunities to working with existing companies within the community to increase inclusion. So we've done sensory friendly days with the Warner Theater, Kids Play, 5 Points, the library, the CFDA, Center for Dance Arts. We currently have a Dance Advantage program that's going on right there for the kids right now every Saturday. So we network with existing agencies on increasing inclusion and opportunities. We create our own opportunities for socialization, and we run a lot of awareness campaigns. So, and we do advocacy with parents. So our support group has always maintained the backbone of what we do at TAFA. We provide on that feedback loop, so parents constantly letting us know what the needs are so that we can better service their needs directly.
So have you seen the need for services grow over time?
Yeah, unfortunately, yes. So we grew from, a really small support group to date, I think we've networked with 106 families in the northwest corner of Connecticut. So through one-to-one sessions, teaching them how to advocate for their children, how to understand their IEPs, a little bit around IEP rights, our parent support group, and the social outings and programs, and the email list that we run to keep them up to date with resources. To date, we've worked with 106 families. Wow, so there is a tremendous need, especially coming out of the pandemic. I think we're seeing where the pandemic really significantly impacted parents of children with special needs. Autism, especially being a social disorder, it is really hard to get out and access your community, period, but then being isolated inside and probably not being able to access school independently online without an adult support person being there, a lot of pressure was added to parents. So they became not only a parent, but a full-time provider and caretaker without the support of a school system and a teacher. So we saw a lot of parents having to leave work or cut hours to be there for their children so they could access virtual learning. And now coming out of that, I think we're looking for more social support and opportunities than ever.
For sure. Can you give me some examples of maybe some families and how you have helped them?
Yeah. Yep. So like I said, we run a variety of activities and different opportunities, both for inclusion, getting them out, being social, working with the parents on how to be better, more informed advocates. We did have a very lovely family that we serviced in Harwington last year who had a grandmother pass away that was really generous in donating the proceeds from the funeral in memory of the grandmother to TAFA, which enabled us to run more programs in the name of that grandparent. So we were very fortunate for that. We see a lot of families like that feel very personally connected to the mission because we are, reaching out and trying to do more and keep it local, where it does become it's like a family. We're like a family organization. It's a very close-knit group of kiddos. A lot of them have actually grown up together, and it's really empowering to see them kind of circle around each other and embrace our mission, because that's what it's all about, is creating that sense of community almost within a community, and just building up that understanding and networking with each other.
So do you provide services for the siblings and other family members of just not the person with autism, but their families,
Yeah.
correct?
Yeah, so that's always been a part of our mission too. Like in my own family, we have a neurotypical child and we have a child with autism. And so we've always made it part of the mission that siblings are included. So whenever we run an event or a program, the siblings are also always welcome to attend. So that is something we never ever want to limit the parents. Parents are always invited, siblings are always invited, and we try to really, like I said, limit any barriers that would decrease accessibility, making things sensory friendly, adding as many accommodations as we possibly can, limiting or having no costs at all. We really try to take into account the direct feedback we get from parents on what limits their ability to access community and programs.
That's terrific. Well, why don't you tell everybody how they can get in touch with you, and how they can learn more about your services, and maybe anything you might be needing at this point?
Yep. So we have a website. It's TAFA, TAFA, Inc.org. You can also follow us on Facebook, or you can email me personally at TAFA, TAFA Incorporated @gmail.com if you have any questions. And yeah, reach out anytime. We're in this new location. We're really excited. So part of our mission right now is we're expanding to actually start a community center. So TAFA will now have a community center for special needs and autism in Torrington. We're going to be on East Main Street, and we're hoping to open within the next month or so to better service a wider demographic of families, children, adults impacted by autism. What we were realizing is that we were getting a lot more outreach from families of older children, saying, my child, my son, my daughter has recently aged out of the school system, and there's less than ever there for them. And we were also hearing similar things from, the birth to 5 range, that, it's hard to find opportunities for really small kids that are sensory friendly and inclusive. And we tend to service mostly school-age children. So we're hoping that, having this space will give us more availability to consistently provide programs and activities for a wider range of age groups. So during the day, we can bring in younger kids who might not be full-time in school yet, and we can bring in adults who might be in housing or be at home to do some, really structured, pointed activities specific to their age group and get them networking with each other to increase that socialization.
So terrific. Congratulations on your space. I wish you the best of luck. And I cannot tell you how appreciative I am, but I'm sure other community members are, of everything that you're doing for kids with autism, their families, and their siblings. What a service you're providing to the community. Thank you so much, and thank you for having me.
Thank you. Thank you for your support.
My pleasure.